You good? You recording? All right, this is Josh from Cigar Memoir. I'm here with Markus.
Raty.
Raty of Volcán, or what's your company name?
Tierra Volcán Cigars. Made by Mombacho Cigars.
Mombacho.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your company and how did it start?
Well, it's this is our first year exhibiting the IPCPR, but we're not new to this game. We've been making cigars for 7 years. And it all started with a backpacking trip. My business partner and I, my best buddy and I, Cam Heaps, we were traveling through Nicaragua back in '06. We had been through Costa Rica and Panama, and Nicaragua caught us. Just grabbed us by the cojones, and kept us there. And we really fell in love with that country. And quite frankly, we were in Granada, Nicaragua, the old colonial city down there, and we met a cigar-making family who, it wasn't about the cigars, they just, great family, they happened to make cigars locally there for the passers-by, and they invited us in and they regaled us with their stories of Nicaragua and their tough history there, and I've quite frankly never met people who had so little and gave so much. So we spent time with this family, and we're thinking to ourselves, how can we recognize this experience of Nicaragua back home with our friends and family? We were roommates, right? We're guys in our early 30s. And so we thought, let's bring back a bunch of these guys' cigars, and we're going to tell that story. We're going to tell the Nicaraguan story over the cigar moments.
Yeah.
So our brand is a story of Nicaragua and discovering an amazing country. And then as a byproduct, we got into the cigar business. We started doing these cigar herfs in our house together, talking about Nicaragua, and people were like, man, these cigars are great. And so, quite frankly, I've been invited to all kinds of tutored wine tastings and Scotch tastings in Toronto, where we're from in Canada, but no one had ever invited me to a cigar tasting or a tutored cigar tasting, teaching me about the rich lore and history of cigars. So we thought, you know what, man, that's going to be us. So I spent a year becoming a cigar industry expert, pouring through books, traveling around, smoking as much as I could, learning about the beautiful passion and lore of handmade cigar making. Went back to Nicaragua. Meantime, we had developed a business plan and sort of a brand that we wanted to recognize Nicaragua with, and we created Tierra Volcán Cigars. The cigars started, the word started spreading. First it was through our friends and family, then it was a bunch of bars and golf clubs came calling, and eventually the retail shops came calling. So people started going to the retail shops in Toronto asking for our cigars. Retailers had never heard of them, because we were off the radar, man. We weren't doing this to become cigar makers. We were doing this because we were storytellers.
Yeah.
We wanted to talk about Nicaragua. But eventually retailers came calling, so then we started talking shop with those guys. Started growing in Canada over the last couple of years in the retail world there, and then eventually with a view towards the U.S. market.
Was that cigar this cigar?
So it's the exact same cigar in Canada and in Europe and in Asia for that matter. It's called Mombacho Cigars.
Okay.
What happened was when we came to the States, and when we decided to come to the States, we're smart dudes, we're going to do our due diligence. So we did our due diligence, and the friendly folks at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office told me that Mombacho was taken. So there was a cigar made in '05 called Mombacho Thermonuclear, made by Eduardo Fernandez, Paul Palmer of Tabacalera Tropical there, and they had discontinued it. I don't think I couldn't see any record of it having been sold up to 2009. This is a year and a half ago now. That's when I was doing this research. And so we figured, okay, well, we got Mombacho Cigars in Nicaragua. That's the name of the factory. The cigars are being sold in China and Europe, and we have the trademarks all over the world. So we did our due diligence. I went up there and I met with Eduardo and Paul, and they informed me that they weren't interested in letting go of that trademark, which is fine. That's their prerogative. And so we had to rebrand or change the name of the cigar. So we called it Tierra Volcán to recognize the volcanic soil that all of our tobacco is grown in.
Okay. Tell us about the blend.
Blend is an all Nicaraguan puro. So the wrapper leaf is a sun-grown Habano seed Jalapa Valley. So the sun-grown, it's got a nice little pop to it. It's a great flavorful wrapper without having too much strength to it. The binder is a Condega,
okay,
and then the filler is a Condega Jalapa mix. So our cigar master Claudio, who I think is the world's only Sicilian cigar master, he's our master blender. He's got 18 years in the industry, and he's worked for some of the big dogs and learned from some of the very best in the business. His blending philosophy is centered on three basic tenets. One is aroma, and to achieve maximum aromatic stimulation, and two is balance, and that is the complementary nature of the strength and aroma. So we don't want the strength and aroma to fight each other on the palate. So we don't want to punch you in the nose with our cigar,
yeah,
but we do want to keep your interest. So it's got a great harmony in our opinion, our profile on that front. And then persistency, which is similar to aftertaste.
Yeah.
We want that cigar that when you smoke it, in between puffs and afterwards, that you're, like that tastes good. It stays with you in your mind, and and that works with our overall vision, which is to provide the world's most memorable cigar. So, we got a great team, great people. We got 20 staff working at Casa Mombacho down in Nicaragua, 6 tables, and quite frankly, the most important part of our cigar business, as far as I see it, is keeping those folks employed down in Nicaragua and growing that staff down there. So Claudio is the one who conducts that orchestra down there, so that's his blending philosophy. And then the tobacco we use, by the way, is all Nicaraguan. So and the Tierra Volcán line will only have Nicaraguan tobacco in it. Yeah.
Tell us about your partnership with Skip Martin.
Skip Martin, man. Skip
How did
Martin.
that come about?
Skip Martin's a dude. So I'll go back one step behind that, and there's a dude in the industry named Island Jim.
Yeah.
Jim Robinson from Leaf and Bean on the Strip in Pittsburgh, and he's become one of my best friends. And Jim brought a tour group. He's got a shop in Pittsburgh. He brought a tour group down to Esteli one year, and then came to Granada as well, which is just 45 minutes from the airport. And we're off the cigar path, right? I mean, there's not much going on cigar-wise, but it's an amazing city. Beautiful colonial city, restaurants, cobblestone streets, friendly people. Jim brought a group down, walked through the doors of Casa Mombacho, and he goes, "This is home." He loved the vibe. We got the cigar rolling going on in the front. Back, we got a nice pool and a lounge, and he kicked his feet up, lit up a cigar, says, "Okay, we're camping out here." And so Jim insisted on carrying our brand, right, in Pittsburgh. I was like, "Dude, we're not ready for the U.S. market yet." And he's like, "I want to carry it." So I said, "You know what, man? I live in Toronto, so I can service that. It's a 4-hour drive away.
Yeah.
But Jim, you're going to be a lone wolf for about 1.5 years, 2 years, because we're not ready for the U.S. market. As Canadians, it's a little bit more difficult to come into the States as a full-blown American company." So we've been stocking that cigar on Jim's shelf now for 2 years. It's become his number 2 seller after his house blend.
Yeah.
Largely in thanks to his partner Melody there, his better half Melody, who has also been down to the factory at Casa Mombacho. Once you meet the Mombacho family down south, it's a wonderful, memorable experience. So Jim brings down his next trip, Skip Martin. Skip Martin walks through the doors, and Skip's a larger than life dude, and I'm a talker, and I got a colorful personality as well. So we get on, and we're really getting along, and we discover we've been leading living in parallel universes,
Without
knowing it, right? Here's a guy who's built his own factory, hired his own staff, done things his way, all about the tobacco and the craft nature of the business, and we've been doing the same thing, but north of the 49th parallel.
Yeah.
So we've been, and in Granada, so off the cigar radar as well. And so the more we talked and ate and had a few libations together, the better we got along. And so fast forward to today, when we're proud to have Romacraft as our distributing partner in the USA.
Awesome.
So in the USA, what they do is they import, warehouse, and fulfill our orders.
Awesome.
We have our own sales and marketing team, myself, and Matt, who's man in the booth right now, and we'll be the boots on the ground. We'll be out meeting the shops and running the events, and then orders are processed and fulfilled by Romacraft. It's a great partnership. We're very happy to have that, and they've really been a great partner in terms of helping us accelerate our readiness for the U.S. market, right? Helping us navigate the waters. So that's great. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that I don't usually look like this. Yesterday, normally we had the black golf shirts that we were looking pretty tight, but today is Island Jim Day at the IPCPR that we have declared it as such. It's Island Jim's birthday, and also as our first customer, we wanted to honor him and his ambassadorship for our brand over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
To help us we wouldn't be here without Jim Robinson this quickly, and so we're all wearing Island Jim shirts today, man.
All right, awesome. Thanks for talking to me, man. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us.